more. See ya. Love you. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going back on track with some caregiver advice, some just life advice, and some mental health advice. So about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, I kind of had this like awakening and I kind of wanted to share it. So 2-3 weeks ago we got the news, and most of you who know my wife's story, we got the news that her cancer, which had kind of been doing well on this treatment that she's on, we kind of found some new spots in her brain, and that wasn't confirmed that it was cancer yet. We still actually haven't been confirmed that it is. It's likely. Anyway, it was another stressful point in our cancer journey and in our life. And I've talked in the past about how important mental health is for caregivers, for people who are going through chronic illnesses, and I had this real life situation that came up, and so I felt like I wanted to make a video on it and share about it because it's pretty darn important. So when that news kind of hit, obviously life doesn't stop around you while you have this stressful news, and I think that's the hardest thing for me to remember in this caregiver journey, is that if you have children, they don't stop asking for the things they need. They don't stop needing dinner cooked. They don't stop needing homework, help and being taken to their activities just because you got stressful news in your cancer journey or in your spouse's cancer journey. So, obviously we had everything going on and in life, and then we get this news. And so what I felt like and what I want to talk about is those normal stresses coming up, the normal stresses we feel at our job, the normal stresses that we feel in the house, with our family, with our loved ones, with our kids. And it's this, I've talked about it in therapy with my therapist, and I've talked about it obviously with my wife, and it's this inner voice. So what this video is going to focus on is challenging that inner voice and then ultimately changing it. So here's what I mean. The inner voice is inside of us all, and it's something that we hear when a situation comes up. We have an inner voice for what we look like in a day when we get ready. We have an inner voice for when something is challenging. We have an inner voice when a stress comes along. We have an inner voice when something really stressful like cancer comes along. And it's a voice inside of us that's kind of giving us our mood. And I'll explain because I'm not making sense yet. So let me put it, I find that putting things in examples makes it easier to understand. So what do I mean by this inner voice, okay? I'll start with one of the main stresses in our house, and I'll just give an example. So we have a senior dog. Some of you guys have seen him. He's 18 years old, right? And he is, we think, pretty much, he hasn't been like diagnosed by a vet, but he seems to have dementia. He seems to be pretty much blind, can barely hear, and so now he's going to the restroom in our house all the time. He was potty trained his whole life, and now all of a sudden he's going number 1 and number 2 all over the house, right? So that's a stressor, right? And right now I'm the main cleaner of the house. We've got our kids who help, and then my wife helps when she can, when she's feeling healthy enough, but I've taken on that role and I'm proud of it. So when the house is a little bit messy and you get home from a day at work and then the dog is peeing, and there's just a big mess, that's when the inner voice creeps up. And what mine was doing is it was looking at that mess, and before I'm saying anything, my inner voice is going, oh geez, here we go again. The last thing I want to do is clean up this mess when I have to cook dinner, help with homework, get the kids in bed, I had a long day at work, I'm tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep, so my inner voice is instantly complaining. So then when my actual words come out, it comes out like, ugh, hold on, I'll go clean it up, or whatever it is. So that inner voice controls your actions that other people see. Nobody's hearing my inner voice except for me. And so that's one example. Let's say the house is kind of messy and then the kids, I don't know, are adding to the mess, or you just cleaned something and you just folded all the laundry, they knocked it all off the couch. The inner voice then, when you're feeling frustrated, at least for me, when you're feeling super stressed about something, cancer, spouse's health, we're all human, right? It's not fair to say that we should always have a positive inner voice, and we should always be positive in all of our actions. We're going to be challenged, and we're going to be stressed out, and we're going to be human and feel scared and anxiety stricken. That happens. But what I found in talking to my therapist and in really practicing over the last couple weeks, what I found is if you challenge that inner voice, it can really make a difference in how you go about your day and how the stressors hit you in a day and how they either bounce off or how they stay with you and cause you to say or do things that you normally would not. So back to the example, you just did all the laundry and then kids are playing and they knock all the folded clothes off of the couch and you now have to refold them. You just spent 20 minutes folding them. Your inner voice, or my inner voice, wants to say, are you kidding me? Come on. And then you might say something, to the kids that, isn't something that you actually mean. Like, I'm so upset right now. Why did you do that? You ruined everything, or whatever. Not that I would say that, but that's because my inner voice was negative. If I can then have an inner voice and change it and say, I look at that situation, stop, breathe, focus on the moment, and say, yeah, that is frustrating, sure. But my inner voice, if I say, oh well, I can make this a teaching moment. Hey Ellis, will you help me fold some of these clothes and we can do it together? Or is it really going to hurt me that much to fold these again and maybe put them away so that they're not on the couch? If you challenge that inner voice, it makes all the difference in your behavior and what comes out. So, like I said, and like I've talked to my therapist about, we have human behaviors and we have human stressors that never go away. Whether or not you have a chronic illness in the family or a cancer or just every normal, if you have money issues or whatever it is, when those start to pile up on you, we all can't help but start to feel maybe a little short-tempered at times, maybe quieter at times, and I didn't love my mood at times. And what I wasn't realizing is that my inner voice kept having this negative feel and this negative energy. So then all that was coming out was stuff I really didn't like. I still had positive points in the day, but when something would happen that didn't go my way, I felt myself instantly getting just a little bit more irritated, a little bit more upset than I normally would be. And now I'm realizing it's all about how I tackle that situation in my mind first, before I say or do something in a day. So for the past couple weeks, what I've been challenging and what I've been doing is just speaking positively about myself, about everything that's going on around me, about all the stressors. And like I said, you're not lying to yourself. You're not saying, oh great, a mess that I have to clean up, this is the best day ever. That's a lie. We're not going to sit there and lie, but you just change your outlook, right? Will it really ruin my day to have to spend an extra couple minutes to clean that up for my poor senior dog who might not have that much time left, and we were going to miss him one day? No, it's not going to ruin my day. Is it really going to ruin my day to have to pick up my daughter right now when all I want to do is cook the meal or clean this or whatever, and she's asking me to pick her up? No. Like, there's going to be a day when I don't get to pick her up anymore, right? So it's really challenging those thoughts and making it into something positive. And like I said, this doesn't take away the stresses in life. This doesn't magically make everything better, but it's actively staying in the moment and and really trying to stay as positive in your mind as possible so that your output is also positive, right? And I'm not talking about toxic positivity, which is a term that I've recently learned, where you're just always pretending that everything is just sunshine and there's no stress, right? I'm feeling great. We all have stress. I'm going through a lot of stress right now. My wife's going through a lot of stress. My kids are going through a lot of stress. So it's not pretending that that doesn't exist, but it's really just trying to alter your normal thoughts that might creep up when you're feeling really stressed out and just challenging them a little bit. And if it's 1 or 2 in a day, that's 1 or 2 better than the day before. And so what brought me to this was, when you're feeling a little short-tempered with the children at times, or with the chores around the house, and you're just feeling over it and exhausted, especially caregivers, because we have a lot on our shoulders and a lot of things to juggle at the same time, you really need to just stop and realize that you're doing a great job, whatever you're doing, and those stresses aren't going to go away, right? They're probably going to be there, and you just need to challenge the way you look at them, challenge what's going on in your life, challenge that inner thinking, challenge that inner voice. And when some of those negative thoughts come and creep in, squash them down and tell them that it's going to be okay, and get through it, and really, really remember to talk to someone, spouse, friends, therapist, because letting some of those stressors out also helps with that inner voice, right? And don't forget to do the things that really help your mental health. Exercise, eat right, get sleep, do activities that you enjoy, and it'll really make a big difference. So this week I'll put in a little video clip. Ellis is starting baseball, and I got to take him to the park and practice a little baseball with him, which I'll show a clip, which was really fun. That's something that I enjoy. That's something that relieves some anxiety or stress. When the day is just piling on, go do something you like. The kids playing at the park, him being able to play baseball, takes a lot of the stressors away. Talk to your partner, talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, and it really makes all the difference, because us as caregivers, if you don't take care of your own mind and your own self, then what good are you doing for that person you're taking care of? For me, I didn't feel like I was doing the best I could do for them. If my actions and my words are more on the negative side, it comes down on everybody. It trickles down. And so I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to be that, and I didn't want to have negative thoughts constantly coming out. So it was like, okay, I'm going to challenge this, and I have found that it has been so successful. So, in summary, challenge that inner voice. Look at every situation, stop and pause, no matter the stress, no matter the anxiety, and can you change the way you look at it? Are there going to be situations that are just stressful no matter what? Absolutely, of course. But if you remain in the moment and you focus on right here, and you change that inner voice, it makes all the difference. Challenge your thought, stay in the moment, do the things that help you so that you can take care of that other person, so that you can take care of your children or your spouse or your mother and father or whoever you may be taking care of as a caregiver. If we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot take care of another person. If we don't love ourselves, then how can we love someone else? In the words of my brother-in-law, gotta love yourself first before you can love truly someone else, before you can take care of someone else. So, I think this is not only a caregiver lesson, this is just a life lesson to really challenge those thoughts and try to make the best of every situation, because you gotta remember, and then I'll close it out with this. What I was kind of going on to was to be grateful. It's very easy to complain in the hard times, and it's very easy to be happy in the good times. But to be grateful even in those really hard times, right? Even if we get scary news about my wife's cancer, to still be grateful for the things that we do have, right? the amazing roof over our heads, our beautiful family, our beautiful friends, the amazing treatment that my wife is getting, if you stop and remember how truly blessed you are and how grateful you are for the things that you do have, you'll stop focusing on the things that are kind of hard at that time, or the things that are really trying to challenge you. So that's another thing I'll throw in, is be grateful. Show gratitude for the things that you do have, and that'll really change your mindset. Alright, so I just wanted to come on here and share that a little bit because I had my own little experience and I feel so much better, even though our situation on the outside has not changed. My wife and I are still going through a really stressful time, waiting for scan results. We still have our children doing children things. We've got, I'm back at work. We've got Ellis and Winnie involved in after school activities. There's a lot going on. But I've really been liking the way and the direction that my mind has been going, and it's because I'm actively working on it day in and day out. So I wanted to share that with anybody who's caregiving, anybody who is just finding it stressful because of a chronic illness or cancer or anything else that's going on. If you feel like you're just in a rut, change that inner voice, challenge it. Look at situations differently. What positive can you find out of each situation? And it really makes for a better day, a better week, a better month, and a better outcome. So that's my words of wisdom for today. Hopefully you take something away from it. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel for more caregiver content and more fun content in general. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.